Hello everyone and welcome to the final video in this series for now of Leela tactics in Queen odds games. This is also part of our Great Ancient Game series and our Crazy Leela series. This first game is a bit of a short one, so let me show it to you. It was a 2600 player doing the 1 minute bullet challenge, but it went like this. So knight f3, knight c6, e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, knight c3, and knight takes c4. And this is well known from positions with the queen on d1. I know it since I was about 8 years old as a simple equalizer. Knight takes c4, d5. Leela played knight d5, which is quite fun. Knight f6, d4. Might be quite interesting with the queen on d1, I have to say too. So black played takes, knight takes d4, knight e5, and then played the interesting d6 here. So yeah, the idea is if the knight takes on f7, you get a queen e7 check in. There's also stuff like knight takes c2 coming in. But had black missed something? He had indeed. White gets the chance for this amazing mate. Bishop f7, king e7, and bishop g5 checkmate. Wow. Queen odds, 2600 Lichess player beaten in 10 moves. You've got to say, this odds Leela is pretty special somehow. So this is another game actually. Actually, it had all gone a bit horribly wrong for black. Opening hasn't been great. I mean, in principle, White's doing quite well here with the knight on f5 like this, and the black bishop on b7 behind the pawn on d5. But it sort of turned into a two-move disaster for black. Also 2600 player playing the 1 minute challenge. So played bishop f2, which just left the bishop on prise, and then black followed it up with queen d7. How did Leela respond? Yep. Bishop b5 is really nasty. Hits the queen, and after queen b5, knight d6, forks the king and the queen, and leaves Leela just a couple of pawns up, which is more than enough for Leela. Yeah, this one isn't. It's not really a mistake from black. Things are going pretty nastily, obviously. Yeah, material is fine, and the black king's in trouble. I just like the mate after queen e1. How did Leela finish off black? It was rook b5, king e4, and rook takes c5. Seeing so many of these unusual mates in the middle of the board, not using the white queen. You know, it's just incredible somehow. I just love this one. I thought this was a really gorgeous pattern somehow. Another completely crazy position. I mean, black's suffering a little bit. Yeah, pieces drawn left, right, and centre, but still hanging in there, and still only lost a piece so far for the queen. Leela gave a check here, and black decided that didn't want to move over to the e file. That looks really risky, so played the king to c7. What did Leela do now? Well, backward knight moves are difficult to spot, and I guess that black missed this one. Who would have thought that that knight on b8 would suddenly come alive and give checkmate on a6? Incredible somehow. The bishop on g4 covering the c8 square, knight obviously covering the b8 square, everything else covered, and black's king a little bit hemmed in by its own pieces as well. Incredible checkmate there. So yeah, this position against 2400 Lichess player. Black's doing all right. Still the queen up. Got a good passed H pawn there. Pieces, everything's got a bit loose, but still all right. I mean, Leela here played the move c5. It's one of those pawn sacrifices for lines, activity, and a tempo that's not particularly easy to understand. But yeah, Black has to find a reaction to it. Unfortunately for Black, he played one of the worst moves on the board here and played the move Queen b7. And this gave Leela the opportunity to play Bishop a6. Well, you think, okay, that's not good, but we're still clearly winning. We just play King c8, and after Bishop b7, King b7, we're a piece up, and yeah, this should be enough. What did Leela do? Yeah, I mean, the big risk with Leela is that things don't go badly, they go awfully. And Rook b4 was the really strong move here. So hitting the queen on b7, and after Queen a6, Rook b8 is checkmate from nowhere, right? I mean, you looked at the position 3 or 4 moves ago, you could not imagine checkmate happening, but it did. Ooh, yeah, this one's a cunning one. So, well, yeah, Black's under pressure, right? I mean, he's lost a piece already, and this, yeah, the knight is pinned by the bishop. The king's sort of restricted here, and you're threatening rook takes c5 as well, thanks to that pin. So Black played the move Queen e2. Probably looking for something like rook c5, Queen f3, doing a bit of disruption. So White played the move rook c1, and rook takes c5 is still threatened. So Black played the move b6 just to solidify the bishop, prepare to get the king out to b7. And, well, it's been a scare, but you're all right. But what had Leela prepared? Yeah, Leela's move was the move bishop f1. Notice how that's been prepared by rook c1 because you couldn't play bishop f1 ever before because of queen d1. And after queen f2, what do you think Leela did? Yep, it's bishop a6 checkmate. Just yeah, it's just the things that Leela's sort of anticipating from human opponents is quite amazing somehow, and this was a beautiful mate, just the whole setup somehow. Rook c1. I mean, in Bullet you often do sneaky things where you set something up to pin the queen to the opponent's king. That's quite common. But this is next level sneaky, really. The rook c1 here, and then bishop f1 to a6. Really incredible. Yeah, this was quite a thrilling little game. Yeah, White had won a rook back and was really attacking here. It's one of those typical Leela attacks without the queen that's just Leela's so stunning at. So trying to get a bishop g4 check blocked. Um, Yeah, I mean, what I often feel about these things, it looks to me like, oh well, there's no more attack. I've had these sort of things in simmels, where I've said it before, where I've misjudged how strong my opponent is, and I've ended up giving away too many pieces, and then I'm desperately trying to put it together as the number of people in the simmel dwindles. But you sort of say, oh, knight c4's coming in, oh, this must be finished. But somehow Leela keeps on going here. So just bishop c1, and then waiting. Show me what you can do. So Black played the move e3 here, trying to give the king a little bit of space, and bishop c2 check, king f4, and now played the move f takes e3 check. So okay, Black played the move knight c takes e3. The knight's active. It's come from b6 c4 into e3, helping keep the king safe. And yeah, might still be a little bit fraught, but should be okay. But what had Leela spotted? Yeah, actually, rook f1 is checkmate here. So the rook on the g file is covering the rook on g7 is covering the g file. There's a check, and yeah, everything else is covered. Amazing somehow. Actually, this position was a draw still. Black could play the move king f3, then we go bishop d1. King f2 is met by rook g2 checkmate, but Black can actually play this. king f3. Well, that's what the engines say. I'm wondering seriously whether Leela might have tried something to create a win out of it, but in principle, black still had a draw even after f takes e3. This is another of those situations where you say, I cannot believe that mate has been given somehow in some way. This is Leela against a 2640 lead chess player rather, a bullet 1 minute, so it's the 1 minute challenge. And Leela, I mean, rook g7 is, I think, what pretty much anyone would do, but Leela does it in a sort of a non-obvious way. Black plays king f6, and then this move's very sneaky, bishop h5. So you're setting up, some rook g6 checks. You're also setting up some rook g7s coming round to f7. And you're also setting up some bishop g5s, forcing the king to the g file with a discovered attack. So for a human player, that's a lot to consider. For a human player moving a bullet, that is a hell of a lot to consider. Black decided to be brave and played the move king f5. Just trying to get ahead of any bishop check. And after rook g5 check, black played the move king e4 in this position. So you're just trying to get ahead of things. This was not the best decision. What had black missed? Yeah, that king is getting rather short of squares, isn't it? And rook e5 check actually redefends the f4 pawn. Black could have just taken on f4, give up the queen with rook g8 and still be material up. But now the pawn is protected. The king's only got one square. c3 check, king d3, and bishop e2. And Leela has mated again. Just I don't know. Just had to play back a few times, just looking at the this diagram and thinking, how on earth was this just mate, 6 moves later? Absolutely incredible. This one's quite a nice one. Black running for the hills with the king. Leela gives a check, and black really should have just given away some more material and put a knight on f6. It's not nice to do, but sometimes you just have to. Black played king h7. How did Leela finish it off? It was g6, king h6, and bishop f4, which just got another mate. Yeah, incredible how Leela keeps on finding these. This was an interesting one here. So this is actually quite a common scenario. I mean, what Leela is incredible at doing, all engines, of course, but yeah, Leela is, let's say, no less extraordinary than Stockfish, is keeping the king side alive. I mean, what you see a lot of these games, and Mr. Beads was saying that what players need to do, they need to play much more aggressively, and all of that, and I think that's a good idea in general there. But and you see a lot of players doing it, but there is one thing about it that Leela is absolutely extraordinary at absorbing the blows that are being thrown at the king side. The amount of positions, I think, where this just must be completely over. And yet Leela keeps on, going forwards against plausible moves. It's just amazing. And this one too. I mean, black seems to have a big initiative here, but yeah, the mate isn't exactly clear. But here Leela seems to make a bit of a blunder, right? Knight e3, bringing the knight back. It was attacked, of course, and you're attacking the knight on d7. And black thought, well, okay, I'll take on e3. You take my knight on d7. I'll take on f2, knight on c6, and then we'll see what happens, right? I mean, how bad can it be? We've exchanged off lots of knights, and it's going to be fine. But what had black missed? Yeah, it's not bishop d7 that's the problem. It's bishop e6 checkmate. Oh my goodness! Out of nowhere. Another checkmate. But of course, Leela's kind of planning it, right, with pawn on h6, forcing a bishop back to h8. This bishop on a3, sneaky. You think it's a defensive piece, but yeah, the king's being constricted, right? That's all part of what Leela's evaluating and Leela's banking on. So yeah, just so hard to keep track of all these threats. This was one of these. Yeah, I've got to go back a couple of moves. So black's kind of survived, right? The opening. Lost the queen, but still got a rook up. And well, looks like it's time now just to make a few sensible moves and yeah, reap the benefits of your play. Black played rook d8 check, and that was a little bit risky because bishop b4 check is a discovered attack on the king. Yeah, king g8 will lose the rook. You don't want that because then you'd be equal material, but white's better, right, with the two bishops. Okay, better put the king on e8. What had black missed? That's right, rook e1. It's not just being uncomfortable. It's actually just going to be mate. The bishop and the two bishops cut all the king's escape squares. The black's own pieces do the rest. It's checkmate. So total disaster in two moves. Not anything particularly amazing. It's not surprising that white could be winning this move. A very typical tactic. You see it in lots of tactics books. So give it a go. So it's mate in 4 in actual fact, but completely winning in 3. Very typical tactic. It's rook f8 check. So you take on f8 and you think, okay, g takes f8, king f8 is winning. Bit of a shame, but white's got an even better move, which is this move bishop h7. And after king takes h7, then we can play g takes f8. The king's been dragged away, and you've got the bonus of taking with check as you queen. Very typical tactic there, and fun to see it in a Leela game. As another 1-minute challenge against a 2400 player. And now the final game in this series of videos for now. Another fitting to end on a 2-night bonanza again. So the Black King has been chased right up the board in a London system, amazingly enough. I'm actually recording this on the same day that of game 10 of Dingukesh, which was a rather boring London system. If only we'd had something like this. So this is actually white to play and give force mate. Force mate in about 4 or 5. Just follow your instincts. It's all checks. Actually, just looking at it now, it seems that Leela didn't find the quickest mate. There's a mate in 4, and there's Leela's mate, which is mate, I think, in 5. So Torch's mate, which is really cool actually, is to go rook e4, king h5, and then the move knight f4 check. And after king h4, knight d5, king h5, we've got a gorgeous double knight mate there. Really nice one, I have to say. That's gorgeous from Torch. Leela played rook e4, and after king h5 played g4 check. King h4 played g takes f5. And then the game continuation was king h5, knight g7, which is also pretty nice as well. The slightly longer mate is if black had gone king h3, we would have had knight g5 takes and knight g5 there. But both of them absolutely gorgeous. So there we are. That's almost 100 of those tactics taken from Leela Queen Odds games. I'll keep on looking out for them, and I'm sure I'll do some more videos there. I hope you've enjoyed these. I think it's certainly given me, I feel, a very good appreciation of what Leela's doing. Watch out for those knights, I'd say, to any people playing against Leela at odds. And yeah, really getting an idea of those sudden turnarounds, which I think are very much due to the way that Leela plays. I mean, Leela's going for stuff that's high risk for the opponent, where games could just turn around just with a mistake. So yeah, not too surprising to see it happen, but quite graphic to see it like this. And so many unusual mates in there, and so many gorgeous ones with mates in the middle of the board with Leela doing it without a queen, really quite amazing. So there we are. Hope you're going to hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you at more videos. Do give a like and subscribe if you do. Trying to reach up to 7,000 subscribers. And thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you at the next videos. Thanks for watching.